Hi everyone and welcome back to another beginner-friendly drawing tutorial in Procreate. Today we're drawing this simple kiwi and honestly anybody can do it if you follow these few steps. I've listed the colours in the description below and I've also linked the colour palette to the tutorial on my website, which is also linked in the description below. So whenever you're ready, grab your iPad and we'll get started. It doesn't really matter what size canvas you start out with, but I do tend to use the square as a default. To get started, tap on your colours and select the first colour, which is the dark brown. Now go to your brush library, find the calligraphy section and select the monoline brush. Use the top slider on the left to increase the size of the brush to its maximum and draw a circle and hold it for a split second at the end to bring up the ellipse menu. Tap on the arrow and select circle. Now that we've drawn a circle, we need to fill it in. So go back to your colours and choose the next colour, which is the lighter green. Drag and drop to fill in the circle. Once it's filled in, we need to turn on the Radial drawing guide. To do this, tap on the little wrench, which is the actions panel, select canvas and toggle on the drawing guide. Click edit drawing guide, symmetry, options, radial, and then turn on rotational symmetry. Then click done to exit the drawing guide. If like mine, your circle is off center, tap on the cursor, which is the transform button. Turn on snapping and magnetics and drag the circle to the middle of the canvas until you see the yellow snap lines. If you think you've made a mistake, just click reset and go again. Once you're happy with the placement, tap on the cursor again to deselect it. For the next part, we're going to create a new layer, so tap on the two small squares in the top right corner, which is the Layers tab, then tap on the plus to create a new layer. Now tap on the layer and select Drawing Assist. This means that whatever we draw in one segment will be repeated in the others. Go back into your colours and select the Yellowish Green. Using the same brush, draw a slightly curved line between any two segments and then continue to colour it in like I have here. Then go back to your colours and select the darkest colour to draw the seeds. Start by drawing one small line outwards from near the edge of the yellow section. Then stagger the height slightly to draw 4 in total that will then repeat the whole way round with the Drawing Assist. If you make a mistake, just tap with 2 fingers to undo and go again until you're happy with how it looks. Once you've completed this step, go back into your colours and select the next colour, which is the darker green. Go back into your layers, tap on the bottom layer and then click on the plus. Tap on that layer and then turn on Drawing Assist again. This will create a blank middle layer so we can draw on top of the base, but below the seeds. Now starting at the edge of the yellow section, draw a slightly uneven border around it, followed by some outward strokes of varying length. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just remember if you're not happy at any stage, you can tap with 2 fingers to undo like I am here and then just go again. So just keep drawing around the yellow section and then use upward strokes within one of the segments at varying lengths to create the darker effect. Now that we've drawn the main part of the kiwi, go back up to the actions and turn off the drawing guide. For the next part, it's easiest to merge all of our layers together. So to do this, open up the layers and pinch all of the 3 layers together with 2 fingers. I'll just undo to show you one more time. So hover 1 finger over the top layer and 1 over the bottom and then pinch them together. Now we're going to distort the kiwi so it looks like it's at an angle. Tap on this cursor and select Distort. I also find it easier at this stage to have snapping and magnetics turned off. Start by dragging the top right corner up and to the left and then bring the bottom right corner up and to the right. The bottom left will go up and right and then the top left will come into the right. And then you can just readjust the bottom left so the kiwi still looks in proportion. This part can honestly take a while to get right if you haven't done it before, so just pause the video here if you need to until you're happy with how it looks. The next thing we're going to do is to select uniform and resize it slightly so that's a little bit bigger. Depending on how big yours was to start, you may not need to adjust it at all, but you do want to make sure that you'll be able to fit at least 2 of them on the screen. Once you've resized it, bring it all the way to the left middle of the canvas. Next we'll be drawing the bottom half of the kiwi. Start by creating a new layer, but then drag it so it becomes the bottom layer. As we're working on the bottom layer, we want to make the top layer so that we can see through it while we're drawing. So tap on the N on the top layer and reduce the opacity to around 40%. This makes it a little bit more see-through so it's easier to work with. Then go back into your colours, select the brown colour that we used at the start. Now we're going to draw a curved line like this from left to right. Start as close to the edge as you can and draw a curved line that meets the right hand side. Hold it for a split second at the end so that it snaps into a curve. Now we need to complete the shape so we can fill it in, so draw a line connecting the two sides and then drag and drop to fill it in. Once you've completed that step, you can go back to your top layer, tap on the N again and bring the opacity back up to max. Now zoom in and have a look to make sure that everything looks okay. If not, just reduce your brush size and even out any areas that haven't quite lined up. And then once you're happy, we'll move on to the next step. To draw the little hairs on the outside, we'll need to turn on alpha lock, which means we won't be able to draw outside anything on that layer. To do it, tap on the bottom layer and select alpha lock. You'll see the background go checkered, which means it's on. Go into your colours and select the lightest brown colour. Thankfully, Procreate has the perfect brush for this, so find the materials section and select the stubble brush. Change the size to around 50% and then just lightly draw over the bottom of the kiwi. You don't want to go too hard or else you won't be able to see enough of the dark brown coming through. Once you've finished this step, merge your two layers together like we did earlier. Then keep the Layers tab open and swipe left on your new layer to duplicate it. Select the cursor again and turn on snapping and magnetics. Make sure uniform is selected and then using the green dot at the top, drag your new layer to the left by a couple of snaps, then drag it out to the right. If you're not happy with how it looks, just hit reset and go again. Once you're done, tap on the cursor again to deselect it. Next, we're going to draw in the shadows. We're going to draw these on a separate layer because we need to use a different blend mode. So open up your layers, tap on the bottom layer and create a new layer from here by tapping the plus. Tap on the new layer and turn on clipping mask. This means we can only draw onto the layer beneath this one. Then go back to your colours and select the darkest one that we used for the seeds. The brush we're going to use is the monoline brush, which you'll find in the calligraphy section. Turn the size all the way up to max and now we're just going to draw in where the top layer would create a shadow on the bottom layer. And then do the same along the bottom. To make the shadow look more realistic, we're going to change the blending mode and blur it. To do this, start by tapping on the layer, select the N and scroll down to soft light. If you like the look of the harsher lines for the shadows, you can skip the next step. Otherwise, go up to the adjustments panel, select Gaussian blur and slide from left to right until it's blended, which would be somewhere around 10 or 11%. Next, we'll do the shadow on the other half of the kiwi. So open up your layers, tap on the top layer and from there create a new layer and make that one a clipping mask too. Draw along the bottom right hand side of the kiwi to create the shadow and then blur it out if that's the style you've decided to go with. So select the Gaussian blur and slide from left to right to blur it out. To finish it off, go into the layer, tap on the N and scroll down to the soft light blending mode. The easiest way to make a final shadow is to have everything on one layer. If you don't want to merge the layers, the other option is to group them, duplicate the group and merge those layers, but for now I'm going to merge everything onto the same layer by pinching them all together. It's generally nicer to have a background colour, so tap on your layers and select the background colour layer. You can use whatever you want, but I've used the last remaining colour in our palette, which I've labelled as background colour in the description below. Then go back into your layers, duplicate it and select the bottom one. You should still have the darkest colour selected, but if not, go back and select it now. Tap on the layer and click Select, and then tap on Colour Fill on the bottom. This selects everything that's on the layer and then automatically fills it in with our selected colour. We also want to be able to blur the shadow, so tap on the layer and turn off Alpha Lock. I'm just toggling off the top layer to show you the difference in the blending mode. So on the bottom layer, tap on the N and change the blending mode to Soft Light. This makes the colours look a little bit more realistic. Now go back into Gaussian blur and slide from left to right until it's about 12%. It may not look like anything's happened, but the blurring has just softened the edges a bit. Again, I'm just toggling it to show you the difference. To move the shadow, tap on the cursor and select the freeform option. Turn off snapping and magnetics too. Using the blue dot at the top, drag the shadow downwards until it's less than half the height it was, and then drag it up slightly so the bottom of the shadow and the bottom of the kiwis are in line with each other. I'll show you the shadow part just one more time, as I know a lot of people can find this part tricky. So once the bottom layer has been blurred, tap on the cursor and make sure freeform is selected. Then using the blue dot in the top center position, drag the top of the shadow down so it's about at the third the height that it was. Then drag it up so that the bottom of each layer in line. If it's not quite lining up, tap on the cursor and then select warp. Then you can just drag whichever section you need to line up. And honestly, it really is as simple as that. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and learned a few things along the way. If you have, please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my next beginner-friendly tutorial. Thanks so much for watching.